Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer, of course, six-time world heavyweight champion and all that. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the BOAT. And right now we're getting ready to do it one more time. I want to thank all you guys for stepping inside with us. Get ready to roll on this trip, man. Got a big week ahead coming up for myself, of course, and I'm looking forward to it. But right now, Bradley, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good, Buck. I'm good. Here we are. We're on the precipice, right? That's the word that you and I both like to use. We're on the precipice of the end of the year. 2021 is right around the corner. I'm excited to finally kind of, I don't know, it feels like, with every new year it feels like this, but this one especially, it feels like a new beginning. It feels like a new beginning. Man, and I need a new beginning.
We were just here, man, a couple of days ago, and we was talking about, man, life and death. I lost another one this morning. One of my heroes coming up, Shabba-Doo. One of the founders of the legendary, iconic group called the Lockers. The reason why I was a dancer, man, was because of Shabba-Doo. My brother used to have, was a dancer back in the day as well, and I always tell the story about stealing my brother's white pants, and getting, I actually borrowed them, getting this contest with, and Shabba-Doo. He always used to have wear white baggies, suspenders, the hat, and so I just want to say, man, God rest his soul, man. Hopefully he's in a better place and making smiles come to faces just like he did for so many years, man. That's all I remember from Shabba-Doo, man. That smile, man, always made people feel a certain way. So definitely another one who will be missed, man. True legend of the game, OG, definitely OG.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. Obviously, it was a little bit more of your era than mine. I was aware of the name and who he was. There was a movie. What was it called? Breakin'? Was that the name of the movie?
Breakin' to Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. And, that's actually the movie that everyone always talks about, Electric Boogaloo, all the time. It's kind of like a joke that's in the popular pop culture. So definitely had his impact on society. And, obviously prayers up to his family. It's terrible right here at the end. And this is what I said on the last show. There's never a good time, obviously, but around the holidays and New Year, it just kind of seems to make everything, it feels a little bit worse.
What's crazy is he was saying he was feeling a little sluggish, and so he got a COVID-19 test, and test came back negative. Didn't wake up the next day. It's crazy. So people take this thing serious, man. You don't know when you got it. You don't know if you got it and when it's gone, so just mask up, make sure we wash our hands, and, that vaccine, man, the vaccine, of course, a lot of people it's real right now politicized, man, as far as the vaccine goes, as far as people, thinking it's a hoax or whatever, man. But I think the only way we're going to get out of this hole that we're in right now is everybody pull together. Like I talk to my students at my school the same way at the same time to get to our destination. That's back on track here in the United States of America. So hopefully, man, we can get back there, man. But definitely, like I said, going to be, it's going to be one that's going to be well lost. Man, a buddy of mine, B-Boy Moy, just sent me a text just a couple of days ago that at the end of the year, they was going to be doing a big award ceremony for the break dancers here in the city of Houston, and then to hear that news right there, that breakdancing, all-time legend, is gone, man. It's just crazy, man. Just crazy, guys. Let's be wise. Let's be wise. Be safe more than anything.
Yeah, no, obviously be safe. We're here at the end of the year when all kinds of craziness happens too on New Year's Eve. So everybody be safe during that. But I think that for this show, we're also probably going to look back at some of 2020. For the good parts of 2020, I want to talk a little bit about some of the best fights that we may have seen, some of the best matches, best moments that we've all seen, and we're all obviously opening the line, the chat line, the text line, the Twitter sphere to all your questions, and the questions have already started pouring in via Twitter and social media.
Stash, man, they're looking at the stash. They're looking at checking out the shine, checking out the gloss. It's back, baby. It's back. Check out the lines, man. Check out the lines. Everything's looking good. That's GODT, man. And I tell you, I'm feeling good right there, drinking, sipping on a little bit of Juan Valdez. So guys, get you some. The Juan Valdez Bold, Black Bold. It's the best one on the market, baby.
And you know what? After this airs and after you're finished listening to us on ESPN 975 and 925 here in the great city of Houston, Texas, make sure you go over to YouTube. And I want to give a shout out to a guy, Chris Van Vliet, who did a great interview with you, Booker, that's on his YouTube channel. I suggest everybody go out of their way to go watch it. You told some stories that I hadn't even heard before, and Chris is a hell of an interviewer, so I really suggest everybody go check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, man, I told a few stories, man, that no one had ever heard about, especially I think the TV locker room story is the one that's got everybody buzzing, man. Everybody want to know, man, who was he talking about? And come on, Buck, tell us who you was talking about. And my thing is, man, I don't want to get nothing started on the internet. I don't want to make anybody look bad or anything like that, but that was a true story, man. I mean, if you guys didn't hear the story, I'm gonna tell it right now. You know, the TV locker room. TV locker room is something sacred in our business. And in the WWE, I mean, for me, coming from WCW, 4-time world heavyweight champion, 6-time world's television champion, 10 times world tag team champion, 4-time United States heavyweight champion. I did it all. When I came to WWF, they had this one room. It's called the TV locker room, and guys like the Undertaker, like The Rock, certain guys would dress. Kurt Angle would dress in the TV locker room. And me, when I came in, I dressed with the boys. I said, man, I'm not gonna dress over there with those guys because I don't know those guys that well. Yes, I'm gonna dress in the locker room with all the boys. It may have been 30 guys, 30 plus guys in that locker room, and it didn't smell too well, but I sucked it up. And after, I don't know how long it was, but I remember the Undertaker, he pulled me aside and said, hey man, won't you come? He saw me going in there one day, said, man, won't you come dress over here with us? And I'm like, cool, so I went over that TV locker room. I'm like, boom, I made it, I'm in, you know what I mean? So it took me to not rest on my laurels or think about what I did. I say, man, I got to figure out how to make it in the locker room before I can make it in the ring here in this company. I just felt that, and then we had this one guy came to the company a few years ago, and I don't know, he just felt privileged, I guess, and he felt like he could dress in the TV locker room with no one inviting him. He just took it upon himself to put his gear in the TV locker room and dress there with us, the legends like myself. And I stirred the pot big time. I stirred it big time. I say, bro, he was like, man, I don't want to dress over there with all those guys, man. We got room over here, man. It's cool, isn't it? Yeah, it's cool, man. No problem, man. Put your bag over there, man. You know what I mean? Coffee. You want some coffee? You know what I mean? Hook him up, you know what I mean? Everything. Making him feel comfortable. Making him feel like he's at home. Like I say, you got to know, guys, when you're in a situation, is it a test or not? If somebody's trying to, feel you out or not, you got to understand that it's not up to them. And the brother just, every week he would come in, TV locker room, lollygag, whatnot. And a few months later down the road, he got fired. He didn't realize why. No one never told him. But there again, if you don't earn your spot to that television locker room, guys, don't go in there. It's not a good place to be. And you can find yourself in the unemployment line at the same time and not even realize what the hell happened. So that's just my advice. Coming from Booker T, 6-time world champ. That's game right there. I just put you guys up on game right there. And they say the game is to be sold, not told. But that's a free one from your boy.
So my question is, why'd you egg him on, this person? Why'd you say, hey, yeah, I'll go get you some coffee? You've never heard you say that in my life.
Nah, man, but you know what? Like I say again, I knew what it took for me to get in the TV locker room. And then I see this guy just taking upon himself to dress with the guys in the TV locker room, the camera guys, whatnot. It was a total lack of disrespect, a total lack of respect, excuse me. And I was like, wow, it's amazing how far the game has changed. So I just want to see exactly how far the game had changed. So I said, let me stir the pot, keep him in here and see if anybody's going to say anything, which I knew somebody was going to say something sooner or later because he was like a sore thumb. He was just out of place in the TV locker room. And we knew it, but he didn't. It's always a test out there, guys. Make sure you always studying for that test. 9 times out of 10, if you don't study, you fail. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information, starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Oh man, I was looking at one of the comments and say, for all of that, man, I'm dressing in my car. That's real talk right there. You know, the Miz, you know, one of the guys right now that's on top of the game, man. That's, you know, a major player. It's a guy that used to dress in the hallway, man. I mean, they wouldn't even let the Miz dress in the hall in the locker room. They would make him dress in the hallway, you know, just because, you know, he hadn't earned his way into the regular locker room in certain guys' eyes. Not myself, of course. But Miz knew exactly what the game was all about. He knew exactly what the test was. He knew exactly how to pass the test. And I look at the kid now, and I say, man, how far he's come. Miz was a kid back in the day. He used to run around. He used to have like a suit jacket on with a sweat up underneath with a hoodie. No, excuse me. A suit jacket with a hoodie on it. You know what I mean? And that was his way of looking cool. And I go, bro, you got to get rid of that. You got to up your game, man. You're making money now. And when you look at the Miz now, whenever you see that brother, he's so
Superstar.
He's so sharp. He's so looking good on top of his game. And I credit myself for a little bit of piece of that, guys. So always, man, always know exactly what the test is. And there again, if you guys know about my class on Thursday night, Booker T's Wrestling 101, every Thursday night, guys, go to realityofwrestling.com. Come in and check it out. See exactly what it is like to know about the small little bitty detail as far as the business goes, stuff that goes over your head. It's like the wind. You can feel it, but you can't touch it. Learn what that's all about, guys. Wrestling 101 with myself, Booker T, every Thursday night on Zoom, guys. Go to realitywrestling.com. Do it now. I do it for you.
You know, I recommend everybody doing going and checking out the class. And also, one thing I want to point out is that in that interview that we were just talking about with Van Vliet, you told some stories that also you go in more depth in your first book, From Prison to Promise. And I actually just saw a chat here that I wanted to highlight talking about that book. Patrick Dooney says his first book was one of the best books I have ever read. I work in a correctional center, and I have them read excerpts of that book, and they love it. I'm assuming he means some of the people who were at the correctional facility there. And I think that's an inspirational thing.
Oh, man, the prisoners, man, they need to hear that, man. And then to see where I've come now, it let all of those guys know that's, you know, whatever cell block they're on, man, that, you know, it's possible for them to, you know, go from a cell block to, you know, living in a big house. You know, it's really possible. It's possible to go from that cell block to being a mentor and someone that people look up to. It's possible. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to keep walking until you find it. You know, the book of Eli is real, man. You just got to keep walking and you'll find it. You'll find it, but you got to have someone like me that have, you know, walked it, you know, and been through it, that you can say, man, if that guy can do it, I can do it as well. And in the book, man, From Prison to Promise, I don't shy away from anything in that book, man. It's raw, as real as it possibly can be. As a kid that was out there trying to find himself in a world that was a wonderland, man. And everything was so bright in my eyes back then too, man. Everything was so fresh at that time, man. I mean, I can smell it right now. The dirt that was I was surrounded by, but it was something that no school, no education in any institution could have taught me. And I really honestly truly believe that. I don't wish that on any other kid to have to actually grow up that way. But for me, coming up the way I did, losing so much, I had to, there again, go through a test and find myself. And here I am.
Here you are. You made it to the other side, and I agree with the float in the chat. Farah is in the chat. She says Booker T inspiration, and definitely agree with that one. You're an inspiration to so many around the world. That's why I say y'all got to go check out that and check out what is it? It's called Sentence to Greatness on the WWE Network, right?
Yeah, Greatness, man. That was a good doc also, man. And there's some more stuff going to be coming out on A&E. But it's amazing, man. Been doing interviews today for Legends Night coming up on Monday night. And it's just amazing that I've been able to see so much throughout my life and in this career. I was telling a story today how, the first time I left Texas and I had never been on a plane before, and I was on my way to Tokyo, Japan. You know what I mean? My first time on the airplane, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! How does this happen? This doesn't just happen, And I'm center stage in the middle of the ring in Tokyo, Japan. All over the island. It was unbelievable, and you go, wow, how did this happen? Coming from there again, the cell block to the jumbo jet to the 16-hour flight all the way to Tokyo, all the way to the Virgin Islands, all the way to Korea, so it's just amazing that I've been able to be a part of so many things in my life. And I relish being able to spread the wealth, man, give it to the young guys and let them, get a little piece of the action, a little champagne, a little bit of the caviar to break off, and a little bread. And that's the thing right there, man. Being able to pass it on and let someone else see that dream as well, see that journey as well. So for me, man, it's been a dream come true that I never had.
Yeah, it's wild to think of where you were and then where you've gotten to and where you continue to go. So again, all that's in that interview. What are you gonna say?
I was talking about also as far as to be honored to be one of the guys that that bell in my ear is killing me. Okay, I see what that is. To be honored to be one of the guys in the ring with the Undertaker for his send-off. That was huge. To be one of the guys in the ring on Monday night being, announced as living legend, Booker T. That right there, man, it don't get no bigger than that for me. Honestly, it really don't.
I mean, would you put that up there with your 2 Hall of Fame inductions?
Oh man, definitely I would. Definitely I would. I mean, no doubt. No doubt. Something like that is not something that you ever see yourself being a part of. We just along the ride, and we put the work in. For me, I put the work in to be, one of the best wrestlers, but to be, not just one of the best wrestlers, but to be one of the good guys, a friend, someone that say, hey man, that's my friend right there, man. That's my homie, man. And then when you see him, you give them a hug, and they give you a hug, and it's tight and it's real. To be a part of that, coming from where I came from, it really is truly amazing. I was talking about earlier today, being in the ring and being across the ring from guys like, Kurt Hennig, to be across the ring from guys like Bret Hart, to be across the ring from guys like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, to be across the ring from guys like Macho Man Savage, to be across the ring from guys like the Nature Boy Ric Flair. It's amazing. How did that happen? How did that happen? A kid from South Park, Texas. Kid from right there, 5942 South Month, right there off Crestmont, 610, right here in Houston, Texas. How did that happen? How did that happen with a kid, losing his father at a young age, his mother at a young age, ended up quitting school, ended up going to prison? How did that happen? That happened. I believe, I'm a huge believer in the man upstairs, and I say, it's truly a reason why I'm here doing what I'm doing. It's not by accident or anything like that. And my work is still yet to be done. I still got so much work still yet to be done. So it's a miracle in so many ways. But I tell you, the work, I'm still trying to find, man, why am I here? And what am I doing it for? But still, the work, I'm still going to continue to put it in.
Yeah, and you got to. And that's what we're going to do in 2021. 2021, the work is coming. Reality Wrestling, 424,000 subscribers as of today. We're going to look to get to that million. I want that million.
Baby.
We're going to get to 500,000 within the first quarter, right?
Yeah, man, that's what's really, really crazy. And it's going to get bigger, man. It's going to get bigger. This year was literally, slated to be our best year, 2020. We was on such a roll. As far as independent wrestling goes, the flagship of Texas wrestling was about to take off, like, putting a rocket on us and sending us straight to the moon. But we had this little thing called a pandemic that diverted us a little bit. But we're about to get back on track. We're about to get back on track in just a couple of days. 2021 is rolling in, and I cannot say, man, I'm overjoyed. I'm overjoyed. 2021 is almost here, and it's going to be greater later. That's what I could say. It's going to be greater later in 2021 for reality of wrestling, not just for reality of wrestling, for you and me. Hey guys, stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore, and we are doing it big. Like I said, I'm on my way to Legends Night.
Man.
Monday night, and everybody always, wondering what's going to happen, man. What's going to happen? And I always tell them the same thing, man. Like the Macho Man Savage say, always expect the unexpected. Yeah, dig it. So that's what you can expect. It's going to be good. Hopefully, I'm going in on Sunday. I'm going in on Sunday because I got to get the test and whatnot. But I'm sure, it's going to be a night to remember. I'm sure the bar is going to be open. I'm sure the drinks are going to be flying, and I'm sure I'm going to have a couple cocktails. So I'm going to tell you the story on Wednesday.
Just avoid Ric Flair at all costs when you get to the hotel bar.
I can't do it. I mean, I'm going to run into Ric Flair, and we're going to be having a few cocktails. Ric Flair is only on the wine these days, which I really appreciate. The wine is good for the heart. That's what at least that's what they say, so hopefully
maybe in moderation, maybe not how the nature boy does.
Not like 3 bottles, right? Oh man, I'm always gonna be some drinking, man. I was looking at Ric Flair story on ESPN 30 for 30 the other day, and they said, Rick, have you ever thought about, after a match, just going to your hotel room, and watching the game? No. Why would I do that? Have you ever thought about just not drinking? Nope. Why would I do that?
Part of the fun, brother.
Oh man, I was watching Jim Ross tell the story that they walked in a bar and there was 9 people in the bar, and he bought 137 kamikazes. So when you around Ric Flair, it's gonna be a party, brother. And that's when the word "brother" is thrown around a whole lot. You know, when you're around Ric Flair, he jiving.
He's an animal. He's an absolute animal. But you know, it's funny that you bring him up because I saw a guy who many people say is one of the greatest of all time, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He was doing a overseas press today, talking about the upcoming Legends Night, and he did an interview in India, and he said that guys like Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre have impressed him. But he said this is something that he said that I thought was really interesting. He said, "Well, you know, brother, I will gratefully accept and acknowledge that compliment because it means so much." This is when someone called him the greatest of all time. He said, especially coming from my peers. The guy who is my hero, who I think is the greatest of all time, that's Ric Flair. He said, so I do appreciate the comment, but I have a different opinion about who the best and the greatest wrestler of all time is. I have to go with Flair. It's in his blood. He laid the groundwork. He raised the bar that no one was ever really able to follow. He had the work ethic. So Hogan says that Ric Flair's the GOAT. It's kind of been one of those things. Or do you even think Flair's the GOAT? Or do you think Hogan's the GOAT? Hogan's telling you it's Rick.
Hey man, I'm not going to disagree with him or anything like that, man. Ric Flair is a guy that there again, that's the real boy there. You know, when you heard that back in the day, they was talking about Ric Flair. There he is. That's a real boy. He was the guy that set the bar as far as, you know, if he wasn't making money, you thought he was. If he wasn't rich, you thought he was. And that's the you know, the professional wrestler right there, which is to make you believe anything I want you to believe. We don't know if Ric Flair had a real Rolex watch on or not.
Didn't matter.
He made you believe he had a real Rolex on. He made you think he was flying in a jet, and he was riding in a limousine every day of his life, whether he was or not. And that's the epitome of what a professional wrestler is. He promoted, you know, like I talk about all the time, you know, we talk about the promo. He promoted this business like no other that have ever lived. Like I say, man, Rupert's, you know what I mean? Rupert's, Atlanta, Georgia. You know, we on our way. You know, soon as we shut it down here tonight, we on our way, and I want all the ladies lined up, and I couldn't wait to get to Rupert's. You know, I'm serious, because Ric Flair would tell him, "Look, we coming," and man, that club would be so lit, man. The party would, man, can you imagine? That's what I'm talking about as far as today, as far as, you know, what's really going on out there. You know, for Ric Flair to be talking about the club, you know what I mean, in Buckhead, that everybody sitting. Now the thing is, this is what you got to understand. If you thinking about going to the club in Buckhead, you got to be a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no. What I'm saying is, Ric Flair had grown men, grown women watching the show and couldn't wait to finish watching the show. They could get their good gear on and get to Rupert's and come hang out with the boys, because they knew Booker T was going to be there. They knew Jim Duggan, Stevie Ray was going to be there. They know the Nation Boy Ric Flair was going to be there, and all the Four Horsemen. And that's the way it was back in the day. We don't hear none of that kind of talk right now as far as this business goes and getting people out to the arena by any means necessary.
Oh man, I love when Rick would start getting on a roll and for all the ladies who want to go see, and for all the ladies who want to go ride Space Mountain, you could just stop off at the Marriott, go to the 6th floor, and Space Mountain will be open all night long.
His room was at the Marriott on the 6th floor. Okay, that's what
he was advertising where I'm going to be.
Oh, man, it was real, man. It was as real as it possibly could be, and that's why the hotels were full, man, with fans, you know, wanting to hang out. You know, we couldn't go anywhere overseas where we were like, what wasn't like the, you know, the Beatles, you know, where the fans would get to the hotel before us. When we leave that hotel, going to the next hotel in the next city, they're going to be there before we get there. When we leave there to go to the next country, to get to the hotel, they're going to be there before we get there to greet us. It was a monster, man. It was a monster back in the day as far as rolling out there, man. And I tell you, man, couldn't have been a better time. Couldn't have been a better time. And that's where I think we need to bring our business back to, in a sense. We need those characters like a Ric Flair that know exactly what selling this game is all about.
And I'm having a hard time trying to hold these Gators down. That was the man. Oh, no one's better than Rick. It really is. It really is Rick and The Rock. But I think that we couldn't have gotten The Rock without Rick. You know what I mean? As far as talkers on the mic, we couldn't have gotten The Rock without Rick. Rick laid that groundwork for you to come in, give you all the fly talk, and then cut you down in an entertaining way. Just the best ever.
Oh,
the
man,
best ever.
You're really good. So many, guys wanted to be, I mean, come on. Every wrestler, even some of the brothers, everybody wanted to be Ric Flair.
For sure.
Everybody had blonde hair. Nature Boy Buddy Landell just said, "Man, I'm stealing the whole thing. I'm going to steal the robe, the hair, the walk,
The name."
the name, everything." Scott Steiner at one point in his career, he wanted to be Ric Flair. It seemed, cutting the promos, the ladies, freak show, big booty daddy, all of that seemed like it was a takeoff of Ric Flair in some sort. You know what I mean? I know I took a little piece from Ric Flair's career and what he did and how he did it. Not anything move wise in the ring or anything like that, but the way Ric Flair was an artist as far as his magicalness, as far as being able to go out there and tell a story inside the middle of the ring, and no one can tell what's going on. It looked like they had talked about it or rehearsed it, but none of that ever happened. He was an artist, and I learned from Ric Flair how to go out there and be able to work on the fly in the ring and give the people something special.
Yeah. I mean, y'all go back and listen to the Ric Flair episode of this show where we had him on for an hour, and Rick went to an hour Broadway, and I think we could have gone 2 out of 3 falls with him. You know what I mean? He has stories for days, and I just always appreciated having Rick on here. And guys like you said, but also guys like Triple H, obviously major influence from Ric Flair, especially when he came in as Hunter Hearst Helmsley with the robes and the blonde hair. And what was he in WCW? Terrorizing?
Yeah,
was that his name?
Yeah.
What an awful name. An awful name. Great look. Awful name.
Hey man, hey bro, look at me. I'm GI Bro when I first started.
But that's not bad. Terrorizing.
Yeah, you gotta, go, like you ever, I don't know if you heard Orrin Anderson. Orrin Anderson say when I came in, if they wanted me to be a clown, he would have said, "How much did that pay?" I'm serious. So it's all about the checks and championships, man. You either get one or the other. If you get the checks, man, it don't matter if you get championships. You know what I mean? If you get the championship, the check's gonna be there. So it's all about checks and championships, man.
Well, we're gonna have a load of questions to get to here coming after the break before we close out 2020 Booker T. But one thing before we go to a break. This is the most ridiculous state. 2020 has had a lot of ridiculous statements. There's been a lot of crazy things said by people in all kinds of places in this world. This is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever read in the history of 2020. This guy, Jason Chatterton, said Ariel Helwani is a god.
Look, why did you give him any play, man?
I don't know. I couldn't help myself.
You don't give him like that any play. He's a guy that's trying to get some clickbait. If he's running behind Ariel Helwani, and he's a coattail rider on that side, we might want to even block him. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I think we're going to do it.
Just block him. You know what I mean? Because we don't even need to be listening to somebody to think Ariel Helwani is a god. Dude, God, forgive me. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. It's gonna be out sometime here in the new year. Ship the T-shirt, pro wrestling tees. Get you one, guys. Get you one. And you say, what does that mean? It means whatever you want it to mean. Okay, we got a super chat there, man. Go ahead, take care of that, man. Go ahead.
Let me get to that real quick. Okay, it's actually bringing up old WCW, a moment that you're probably not too fond of, but talk about the Hulk Hogan "We Coming for You" promo. He said it's one of the most memorable and realest promos ever.
Hey,
But you're not a fan of that. I know people. It's funny to some people, but you say you let a lot of people down whenever that happened, right?
No, I mean, I did. I mean, I'm not fond of it or anything like that, but I don't shy away from it. I don't run from it or anything like that, because I talk to young people about this all the time. You got to know how to change your levels. No matter where you're at, you got to know how to change your levels. Just say, for instance, you're at a cocktail dinner, with some important people. You can't roll in there with your pants sagging or anything like that. You got to know how to play the part. You got to know how to become the part, and for the longest in professional wrestling, a guy told me a long time ago, you got to be a champion in the ring as well as out of the ring, all the time. And you got to represent that. And that I took that to heart. But there again, you got to understand, I'm from the neighborhood. I'm from the hood. And when I'm around, back then, at least when I was a kid, younger, when I was around my friends, I would say things like that, the N-word. And it was just a word that we used on a regular. As I got older and I started realizing what I was doing as far as being responsible for, young people that look up to me, when it's flipped out on television, I was getting hot. You could tell I was like a Baptist preacher. You know what I mean? Good God, I was going to places and all I could do was yeah, and then it came out, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Let me back up for a second, because there again, I never wanted those people to see me in that light. I never wanted those people to hear me use that term, because there again, my belief is if I use that term, if I'm saying it, what gives them the right, what gives me the right to tell them they can't see it? So I just felt like I let a lot of people down that looked up to me, and I did not want them to think that was something that was okay, because it might be the difference in them, moving up the ladder at their job or moving down the ladder or getting fired from their job. And it's just real talk. It's just real talk. I caught myself in the moment, but it's a moment that I say it all the time. I wished that I could have taken back.
Yeah, and I mean, you could see on your face you instantly wanted to take it back as soon as you said it. Like it's one of the most instant, because you kind of grab your head like, what did I just do? What did I just say? And,
Yeah.
and Sherry, by the way, shout out in that moment, right, to Sherry and Gene Okerlund, who Sherry just put her hand on your shoulder, smiled at you. I think she grabbed your chin at one point, and then Gene no-sells the whole thing.
It was a moment, man. It's crazy. I've been part of so many moments, and there again, thank God we wasn't in the era of social media.
Canceled. You would have been canceled.
Yeah, exactly. People would have looked at me and say, "No, we got to get rid of him for saying that word on TV." It's crazy, and I'm just lucky that I had people like Hulk Hogan who it didn't bother or faze him at all. Macho Man Savage made a joke about it at catering the next day. Everybody was ha ha. And the thing is, we never said anything else about that for 30 years, which is crazy almost anyway. And it's nuts. That's just part of the game, man. It's just part of the game. And still here, working it out.
Still here and working it out. Book, I feel like we should get to a couple of these questions that we have coming in via Twitter and the chat line. Here in the chat, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitter, or you're watching on YouTube, put your questions in right now. We're going to start answering questions right now. So if you put it in the chat earlier, repost it right now so that we can see it and we can go ahead and answer that while we're doing this here right now. Book, let's go with right now. We're going to go with at Dominic D'Angelo. Said, Book, if you were to have the booking pencil for the Royal Rumble and you were slated to win the whole damn thing, how would you do it? Would you be the final, and who would be the final person you tossed over the top rope? That's a good question.
Right now?
That's what it said.
If I was booking a Rumble and I was in it and I was winning it, and who would I toss?
Yeah, who would be the last guy that you'd want to, come down? Give me your final four. Who would be the final four? It's you and what other three guys if you were booking the Royal Rumble? Because here's the thing, you're winning. You're going to the main event of WrestleMania. You need to look strong. You can go over on.
It'd have to be Owens, Lashley, Reigns, and Styles would be the last four guys.
Four guys you throw out.
Four guys, and I'll toss them out one at a time. Single-handedly. AJ Styles will go first, and the last guy will be Roman Reigns by press slam over the top rope. Yeah, straight to the bottom. And that's the way I would book it. I mean, if I'm gonna book it, I gotta make myself look strong.
You gotta look strong, brother.
I gotta, I got the pencil, I got the book. You know what I mean? This is, and then hopefully I'm booking Mania.
You're gonna go over that time, aren't you?
I'm winning.
Let's go to Mike DeLee. Oh no, let's actually go to Brandon first. Brandon wants to know, book, what's your favorite side? Mashed potatoes with gravy or macaroni and cheese?
Oh man, I got to do both of them at the same time.
Same time?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick one.
I'm a starchy type of guy. You know what I mean? So for me, I always mix my mac and cheese, alongside, my mashed potatoes and gravy. That's just something I do all the time. That's just a regular.
Yeah, okay, let's move on here to DJ Black. Was it ever difficult to hit the Harlem Hangover?
Yeah, man, I tell you, Harlem Hangover was a move that wasn't difficult at all. I mean, if it was, 5 to 10 minutes in the match. Only time the Harlem Hangover became a little difficult to pull off when you was, 15, 18, 20 minutes in. If you had a hard match, you're a little slippery, you're tired, your precision is not as good. And for me, that's one of the main reasons I stopped doing the Harlem Hangover, because the percentage rate went down dramatically after 15-minute matches as far as me landing it properly. I would land it, just didn't know where it was going to land. You know what I mean? I didn't know if I was going to break somebody's jaw, bust somebody's nose, a tooth might fly out or something. So for me, it was always a Harlem Hangover. If you notice, back in the day, every time I hit it well, it was early in the match, precision, perfection, boom. But just say, for instance, when I worked with the Big Show and I landed it on Big Show, man, I whacked him. When I worked Triple H, my last match there, SummerSlam, I whacked the crap out of him. No, my first match. I'm sorry, the first one, not the last. My first. Yeah. I whacked the crap out of them, because I was a little tired. You know what I mean? So percentage rate. But it was very easy. But I only did it maybe 20 times in my whole career.
Yeah. You mentioned that before, which it's such an iconic move. Yeah. And the fact that you only did it sparingly.
I missed it more times than I hit it. When I was trying to learn how to do it.
Let me ask you, whenever you would hit some guy like that, like say Triple H, you bam, whack him right in the face, or Big Show. What's protocol? Do you go up to him after the match and just say, "Hey man, my bad."
In the match. Sorry, bro. Keep it rolling. You know what I mean? Check him if he's okay. You look
no receipts.
You look for a receipt. You know what I mean? You look for a receipt. It's a receipt. Definitely could be coming back your way if you if it's even thought for a moment that you were careless or you did it on purpose, man, slow it down. Watch out. It's one of those type of deals. It's not, all fair and love and war. That's the way we look at it. Yeah.
Let's see. Who else do we got here? Here it is right here. I want to pull this one up. I think we can do this right before we go to break. From Matthew Jenkins. You're one of my favorite wrestlers. You're my favorite wrestler of all time. Do you think your place in wrestling is underrated? Your skill set for a big man is unmatched.
I don't know what you mean by underrated, because I'm a 6-time world champ. All right, and I'm a 2-time Hall of Famer. It's only 4 guys that's in the Hall of Fame twice. My name, recognition now is just as high as it's ever been, or even higher. I can't see. And I can understand. What he means. Also, just say, for instance, I'm number 2 as best king of the ring. Okay, How could that be? How could it be another king better than Booker T? It's impossible. It really is impossible. And if I was on any panel and it came up before me, okay, guys, who played the King of the Ring, king better out of all the tournaments in WWE's history? Who played the best king? Who do people really believe? Booker T, and it's hands down. Conversation come up, as far as guys that had great matches. My name never comes up, and so I can understand where he's coming from. But I know that I didn't slip on a banana peel and find my way into the Hall of Fame twice. It just didn't happen. I know I didn't slip on a banana peel and find myself in this position right now. Doing what we're doing right now. Still one of the most relevant guys that's still out there, that's been a part of this game for 30 years. I'm going to be in the ring on Monday night, mentioned with the greatest legends that ever, put on a pair of boots. I was invited to be there for the retirement of The Undertaker. One of 8, 9 guys, that right there, it shows me maybe from the internet and all of that, I may be underrated, in a lot of people's eyes, but trust me, I'm number one, man. I'm winning. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I know we got a whole lot more, Brad. So let it roll.
All right, we will keep these coming up as I'm looking for them. And this actually coming again, super chat from AJ, who was talking about the promo earlier. He said, I understand that people would try to cancel you today, but me and other fans would defend you. Harlem Heat Booker T character talks one way. King Booker talks a different way. Booker T is one of the GOATs. That's a good distinction there. Good distinction.
And what's cool, man, is I appreciate the fans sticking up for me, man. Even back then, the fans, they stuck up for me. And it's still to this day, they're still sticking up for me for that moment. And I appreciate that, man. I really do. But, the one thing I can say, I do look at myself like a role model. I have looked at myself like, young people been looking at me and watching me. I remember going to the park that I, went to so many times when I was a kid, place called McGregor Park when I first started wrestling. And I was just in the GWF, the Global Wrestling Federation. So I wasn't really making no money or anything like that. But I was like, man, I'll go to the park, So I went to the park just to hang out, like, back in the old days, like when me and my cousin and my friends used to go there and whatnot. And this kid, he saw me and he said, yeah, Booker T. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on, man? And I was like literally one of the first times I got recognized somewhere. And he goes, man, I want to be like you when I grow up. And I was like, wow, that totally like just blew me away. It touched me in a way to where I was like, wow, you know what I mean? So for me, even, like from that day, I knew young people like that was watching me, and perhaps like that kid say, man, I want to be like you one day when I grow up, knowing where I came from, knowing what kind of trouble, what kind of potholes this kid could really find himself in. For me to be the one that he looked up to, it was a huge responsibility for me to try to stay on track. You know what I mean? So I appreciate those guys, there again, that rep me, that's got my back. So boom, I'll let you, bro.
Yeah, and let's go to Sam. Sam Haynes says, a huge shout out to Booker. I was in a movie with him called Penance Lane. Oh, shout out to Sam. He killed his role in the movie. Yeah, man. Penance Lane. Go check it out.
What up, baby? Yeah, man. We had some fun too, man. That cognac. that yak we was drinking, man. I'm telling you, man. When you're on the set, man, you can just flow, man, and it's about the brotherhood at the same time. Penance Lane, big shout out to Penance Lane, guys. If you haven't checked it out, go to penancelane.com. Check out your boy Booker T in one of his first horror flick roles, and I tell you, man, what a role for my first one. Big shout out to all the players, man.
What was your name in the movie again?
Shooter.
Right,
Yeah.
Shooter. That's pretty dope. I like it. We
Tyler,
got another
Tyler Main production, guys. Tyler Main production.
shout out to Tyler Main, the original Sabretooth. Let's go to another super chat coming in. $19, a $20 super chat coming in right now from SJB. Appreciate you, my man. SJB says, what type of advice would you give to wrestlers these days who are trying to find the balance between kayfabe and their personal lives? Did you struggle between the balance of the two?
Get to reality of wrestling first thing, kid. No, but I didn't struggle between kayfabe and the reality kayfabe. I never struggled. Jody Hamilton. Back in WCW, we used to go to Disney and do tapings down there. And I remember, I can't remember who the hell I was talking to, but we was like in a little outside area and people could see us. And I remember Jody Hamilton goes, "Kayfabe, for God's sake!" And I was like, oh, "Man, brother, let's get in here, man, before we get in trouble." You know what I mean? And I've been thinking about that. I thought about that from that day forward back in WCW. My emphasis stages, and the thing is with kayfabe, it's one of these things. Just say, for instance, you're a heel, and you got to go to the hotel. You got to walk through people. It might be some kids in there. They might want your autograph or something like that. Now, I don't recommend stopping and doing an autograph signing, especially when you're a heel. But when you're a heel and you're somewhere and you're around no one, and the only one that see you is you, and you're still acting that way, it's a problem. You know what I mean? So you got to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. As far as around the arena, on social media, I think that's where the problem comes in more than anything. Social media, you guys have got an angle on television or in the organization you have, and then you on Twitter like buddies. I said, if the Undertaker was to come around today, on Monday he'll be the Phenom, the Undertaker, on Monday night, and on Thursday night he would be a chef, the greatest chef in the history of French cooking. You know what I mean? So I think you got to know how to balance this world you're in right now, as far as if you want to be in this business and make it to the next level, because there again, trying to make people believe and feel a certain way, you got to do certain things. And if you're on social media being buddies, you're going to be just like everybody else. So I say, if you're going to get in this business, take your Twitter account, get rid of it, or let somebody else run it that know what they're doing.
All right, good advice there from Booker T. Let's move on. Monster Chun says, Arnold movies or Stallone movies, Booker T? Which ones do you like more, Arnold or Stallone? You got to pick one. Don't do me like mashed potatoes and
no, man, I ain't gonna. I mean, if I was gonna pick one and say, they were my best movies, I'd say Rambo and the Terminator. so I can't pick one.
Come on, man.
No, I really can't. Rambo, Stallone was on another level. Terminator and Arnold was on another level, and both of those movies coincided with each other as far as my life growing up, as far as me totally finding myself and getting into a movie and say, man, this is something. I can't remember how many times I watched a Terminator on a disc about, I don't know about this big, how big as an album. It was about big as an album, know what I mean, as well. And then Rambo, of course, where I got my character from, before pre-professional wrestling, the helicopter scene comes into the village, hovers down very, very low, fire off all the machine guns, start killing all of the NVA, and for no reason, he yells as loud as he can. Ah! And I say, man, that's cool. That is so cool right there, man. So That was the beginning of Booker T. If you remember me yelling in the ring every time I would chop somebody, it was Rambo. You know what I mean? The Terminator, the one movie in the Terminator, we were just talking about Pennis Lane. And I stole a little bit from the Terminator for the movie Pennis Lane. And is my brother, I'll give you just a little makeup of the movie here. My brother in the movie, his name was Bob. His name was Bobby. All right. And in the movie The Terminator, Carl Weathers, at one point, the Predator came out, start killing up everybody, and Mac had ran off, and he had to go and catch up with him. He goes, Arnold comes out to try to stop Carl Weathers from running off and catching him. He goes, Mac, and in the movie, Bobby gets snatched up, and I go, Bobby. I'm like, oh man, I just used it live from Predator, man. You know what I mean? So my thing is, man, it's all of those movies. They were part of me, throughout my life and throughout my career, and I'm still using little bits and pieces of those movies still now today. So I can't pick one, man, out of those two, man. I really can't. I really can't.
I feel like you gotta pick. I'm more of an Arnold guy. I like more Arnold. I don't know. It is hard. I think I'm more of an Arnold guy though.
See, like I say, if you guys, it's certain movies, that you guys haven't seen that I've seen that certain guys are in, like Stallone. Then Arnold as well. Arnold, we've seen a whole lot of his movies, so it's really hard to say which one for me is.
It is hard.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely is. Let's go to another Anderson Jam. Hey, Brad, how are you feeling about James Harden at this current moment? Book, we were talking about James earlier, and the man's balling right now. But I said I wanted him out of Houston. But can I say one thing? Right before we did this show, I was playing NBA 2K21. I just bought it, and I went ahead. I did all the trades, and I have the current Rockets lineup as my team in the season. I gotta say, I love this team.
What you do that for?
It's such a great team. It's such a great team. Wall, Cousins, Harden. This Christian Wood kid is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm going back to 94 Rockets if I'm playing the game.
I'm saying, and James, he seemed a little bit more positive to his current situation the other night. If they can figure something out, I'm never going to turn down 40 points a game, right?
Look, man,
I'll tell you what, I'm indifferent to him right now. I'm indifferent to him right now.
But my thing is this, bro. I think it's this. James Harden, phenomenal player.
Yes.
But what has James Harden done for us lately? What has he done? What did he do? I mean, he's caused a lot of friction because of what? For no reason. Showing up late, showing up out of shape, even though he's going out there and scoring. What has James Harden done for this city to make us feel good about ourselves? Not just him. I mean, the scoring titles, I'm sure if you was to go in James Harden's house, he'd have a trophy wall with all of his accomplishments. And I'm going to tell you, man, it would be so beautiful. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I'm talking about it's like a shrine. I mean, and the thing is, he probably got so much stuff that he had to have an extra room built just to display all of it. You know what I mean? But the thing is, what we got? What we got? Broken hearts, broken dreams. That's what we got. That's what we got. So until James Harden can find himself and bring something to this city other than scoring titles, I don't want to talk about James Harden on this show ever again.
Okay. That's how you feel. You don't got to get hot about it, Book. We're just talking here. We're just talking.
See, dude, like I say.
Okay. Well, will you at least unzip so we can go to break?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, guys, stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Yeah, yeah. Well, what else we got, man? We rolling right now. It's all about Ask Book, guys. It's all about Ask Book. If you got something, definitely put it out there. Super chats will be take preference here, guys. So definitely send us super chats. Help us out, guys. Help the show out because we plan on being here for a very, very, very long time. We need your help. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely need your help. I'm going through some of the questions right now. We have a couple of bots in the chat that I got to get rid of. But when we're moving forward tonight on AEW, of course, is the tribute to Brody Lee on AEW Dynamite. And we had a few people ask this question, so might as well let's get to it. What is your favorite Luke Harper moment? I know that you didn't share the locker room with him too much, but I believe you were on the call for some of his matches. But when you think of him, what's one of the first things that comes to mind?
Just a good dude, man. He was a guy that was a guy that you know wore his heart on his sleeve, man. It was about the guys in the locker room. You heard that old military adage. I think Marines use it, and they say it's always about the guy that's next to you. You got to make sure you got to cover the guy. You cover that guy. God gonna cover him. God gonna cover. We're covered. You know what I mean? And it seemed like the type of guy that John Huber was. He was a guy that seemed like he loved his family, and that means family meaning the boys, the guys on the road that's in the trenches with you as well. But you could tell he was a real true family man, a guy that believed in going out and doing the work, like they say, bringing home the bacon. You know what I mean? He was a guy that did that, took care of his family, his wife and kids. You got to respect that. He was a guy that wasn't, willing to wait as well. So he said, man, I'm gonna, take a chance and move over here and do something, because you just never know. So I have the utmost respect for, what John Huber did and brought to the game. And there again, at the end of the day, you know what kind of person a person is by the way his peers talk about him, in a moment like this. And the thing is, they don't want to stop talking about him. That's the thing, because they don't want him to go. That's the true fact right there. But I tell you, my heart goes out to the family, condolences. But I tell you, he definitely went well before his time.
So let's go to the next question here. This is from @HardestTry on Twitter. He said, I'm pretty sure you've been asked this plenty of times before, but how'd you come to use the scissor kick or the axe kick move? Who else have you seen that does a good one? How did the Spinaroonie come about? And are there any moments from your WWE career you wish you could do over? So we have 4 questions here, but I don't know if I've ever heard the origins of the axe kick, the scissors kick. Where did it come from?
First of all, it came from a movie back in the day. Eric Roberts was the star in the movie called Best of the Best. And it was about these American fighters that was in this tournament, and they ended up in the finals against, I think, the Korean tournament. And it was this one guy on the Korean team. He was going against Eric Roberts in the final, and Eric Roberts went down. He kicked Eric Roberts in the stomach and came up with an axe kick, bang, right on the shoulder, and broke his collarbone. And I go, wow, that's a sweet move. And I just tried for so long to figure out how I could incorporate it into wrestling. So in the beginning, when I first started doing the scissor kick, I would do like a spin and then jump up and come across, boom, leg down. It didn't feel right. And then I experimented a little bit more and finally found how I can bring the scissor kick into the world of professional wrestling with a boot, hit the ropes, bang, and it looked pretty, as well as it was really, really safe. I don't think I ever whacked anybody with the scissor kick or anything like that. But it was just a move that, there again, nothing is original. You got to be able to find stuff, make it your own, and then put a little twist on it. And then next thing you know, you've created something. I created the scissor kick. I brought the scissor kick to the world of professional wrestling, just like the jumping side kick. That's mine. I put a stamp on that right there. That's copyrighted. All right. The side kick, that's Booker T's. And the one question, who have I seen do it well? Nobody. Nobody. Nobody does it well. And that's the thing. I don't know why you even want to try it. Because first of all, you got to have for that scissor kick. It's not the kick actually. It's how high I jump. Okay, which makes the scissor kick what it was. So if you ain't got a vertical, I'm talking about where you dunking. You don't need to be doing the scissor kick or the side kick. Side kick was so iconic at one time. The side kick move that I loved the most was my brother shoot the guy to the ropes, grab him, pick him up as high as he could, and I would jump all the way over my brother's head to catch the guy in the jaw. Bang! And that's a move right there that'll never be recreated ever again. Perhaps, I don't think. Anyway, at least not to look as good. Nah, man. These suckers out here, man. None of them can do it good.
So, some have tried, right? Some have tried.
But like I say, I mean, Alicia Fox, she might have did. She did a good scissor kick, but she missed the person every time. She landed wrong or something. But she looked good as far as poetry and motion. Other than that, nobody.
All right, let's go to right here. What do you think? No. Where's the question I wanted to ask? What is Booker T? This is Kid to the Krasics. Says, what is Booker T's favorite reality of wrestling moment?
Man, favorite reality of wrestling moment, man. Probably be Samoan Beast versus Q in the steel cage. Christmas Chaos.
Yeah, I know it was Summer Champions
Summer
1.
Champions. Yeah, Summer Champions. I'm sorry, Summer Champions. And what a night, man. What a match. What a real feeling after leaving a independent wrestling show. You know, for the fans that night, you know, I don't know, we had over 1,000 people in the arena that night watching those guys. And it felt so big. It felt like it was a major company at a major pay-per-view that night, watching those guys go out and perform at such a high level at what's called independent wrestling. It let me know that, man, we got a chance here at Reality of Wrestling. We got a chance to do something very, very special here in Texas. And that was just a appetizer. But that moment, you guys can go back and watch it, you know, in the archives, Samoan Beast versus the Mysterious Q.
Yeah, that was a fun night. It was a fun night because of how it opened, too. Remember, Abel Andrew Jackson was out there with politics, and I think he said he was going to cancel the whole show. I can't remember what he was saying, but he was talking all his on the face stuff. And then Teddy Long's music hits. Teddy Long's like, hey, I've actually been given the keys to the kingdom tonight. Booker T's taking the night off. Teddy Long makes the match. And it wasn't a tag team match, but he sends out Devon Dudley, right? So Devon Dudley hits the ring, which was great. The main event that you're talking about, Stevie Ray was in the corner of the Samoan Beast, and then Diamond Dallas Page was in the corner of the Mysterious Q. And Q wins the title. 455 off the top of the cage. 1, 2, 3. He's the new champion. And then he can't even celebrate because Carlito Caribbean Cool's music hits. Carlito comes out to the stage, takes a bite of the apple, looks at him, and we go off the air.
What a night, man. What a night. I mean, we really have something special here at Reality of Wrestling. And that's why I can't wait to, you know, get back kicked off in 2021 to really put the hammer down and really make Reality of Wrestling, you know, not just, you know, known here locally as far as it being, you know, ringing really loud, but I really want, you know, the noise to bring as far as Reality of Wrestling around the world. Of course, Texas is going to be our base, but we want to be able to touch a little bit of everywhere and let people see what, you know, my vision of what professional wrestling is, my thought process, my stories that's going into this thing. And it's no different than anything anybody else is doing. But there again, guys, you got to figure out how to do the same thing everybody else is doing a little bit different. And that's what we do at Reality of Wrestling with the youngest roster in all of professional wrestling. That's the beauty of it at Reality of Wrestling. That's the reality of it at Reality of Wrestling.
Oh, man, so many great moments in the history of reality wrestling. But that one was cool. The other good one was, do you remember the match that Q had during that run as the champion with Hardcore Holly?
Yeah, that was a good one also.
Great match, and Holly had this idea about the mask thing that he came up with, and it worked well in the match. You know, some of those guys that we were bringing in at the time, they all added, right? And that was always your thing. You never wanted to bring in somebody just to bring in, oh, it's a name. We need a name. You brought in guys who actually added. Even when Disco Inferno came out and did the Rumble for us, he killed it. He killed it.
Yeah, definitely. No, man, that's what it's all about. Bringing talent in that can enhance the talent, that can enhance the town, not just bring them in, pay them, and then send them off. I always think it's all about the guy that's going to be there working next week. I'm not coming back next week, so I got to make sure your guy get a little bit of a rub from a Hall of Famer before I leave here. So, guys, we got a little bit more for you. We got a little bit more for you. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're about to roll up out of here, man. We got one more segment. We're still answering questions, man. It's all about Ask Book today, guys. Get your question in. Super chats always welcome, guys, as well. Try to make this thing bigger and bigger and bigger. You see this mic right here? This is a road. Cause a couple to get these, man. Make sure the smell sounds is good every week, man. Most definitely, we appreciate you guys. But let's keep it rolling, bro.
All right, I'm looking for this right now. This is from FoundLink323. What are your memories of LL Cool J on Raw back in 2002? Man. He was almost as big as you were.
Man, LL was big back then. The only thing big on him there is his head.
LL has a. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that Jamie Foxx stand up about LL?
No.
You haven't? So you know they were in Any Given Sunday together, right?
Yeah.
And then they actually got into a real fight on the set. And Jamie Foxx was like, what LL didn't realize is I was just doing my lines from the movie. And he thought it like I was really talking to this man. And he said, so we're doing the scene and I can see he's getting real hot. And he's like, I think this man deserves an Oscar. I really believe that he's mad right now. And then he goes, LL, you know, we're really not playing football, right? This is just a movie. I'm an actor. And they got into it. They got into a real fight on the set. And he said, I was worried when you have a guy that big who only thing else, he goes, I never saw LL working out. He just had a big head and he would always lick his lips. So he's like, I didn't know what to do with that. But anyway, what do you remember about LL back in 2002?
Man, that was a good angle, man. There again, I've always been a piece of something, man. I've been a part of, every little piece of history. And to do that thing with LL, it was really, really cool. But my thing is this, man. I'm from the street. I'm not the type to like calling guys out or anything like that. I don't mind getting into a fight, but I like people to call me out first. And then I remember calling him out, and then he stood up, and I could see how big he was. But not just that, I could tell he was from the neighborhood as well.
Right.
Just on, just GP, just on the smell of things, and if it was, somebody going to get in a fight, it didn't seem like he didn't mind it too much. You know what I mean? So it was crazy, actually. You know what I mean? It was kind of nuts. But we got along very, very well. I don't think we got into it or anything like that. When I rolled up on him, maybe because he knew he was going to have a good outline and, he was going to get back at me. But it was cool, man. For me, there again, I'm on the set with LL Cool J. All right? Doing a vignette. I mean, come on. Come on. Come on. You got to be kidding me here, right? So that's the way I look at stuff like that. But it was cool, man. It was really, really cool.
Man, I don't think I've ever seen this. I think I need to go back and watch it.
I was
So
just flipping through YouTube today, and it was on my timeline. I watched it and started laughing. But it's
Really?
really, really cool. Yeah.
I need to go find this. And there we had a super chat come in, $5 super chat from Danny W. Met you at the Royal Purple in Baytown when I was 4 in 1997. You were so chill and the first wrestler I ever met. I really appreciate the moment, man. Thank you. That's a good one.
No, I appreciate that, man. That's one thing I always want to be remembered by, and that's when people meet me or have met me before. I was coming through Chick-fil-A online today, and the guy said, man, he had the mask on. He goes, man, I met you when I was 7 years old, man, and he was like, man, you was so cool, man, I'm like, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. He was like, nah, man, I really appreciate you, man. I was like, cool, that's just the guy that was taking my heart into Chick-fil-A line today. And then this guy here say that, I want people to always remember when they met Booker T. It was a chill moment. It was something that they're gonna remember for the rest of their lives. If I was someone that they really wanted to meet, just because they're gonna remember if it was a cool moment or not. And for me, it didn't cost me anything to leave them with their moment. That's their moment. That's not my moment. That's their moment. Now, the guy that almost cut me off today on the freeway, I pulled up on the side of him and told him to pull over because I wanted to whoop his ass. You know what I mean? And I didn't care if he liked me or not. So people that praise Booker T, and I'm gonna give it back to him most definitely. So I appreciate it, bro.
But here we are at the end of the year, and you're trying to get into a fight on the freeway.
And I lost it today, man. I lost it. I was already mad, you know what I mean? And I just left the house to drive around, and I'm getting on the freeway, all right, to get in the legal lane, not to want to get off at the next exit. And the truck behind me tried to speed up and get in front of me before I get over. Now my blinker's on. And then he starts honking the horn at me. I don't know if he thought I was an old lady or not. But I rolled the window down, of course, and shot him the bird.
Right.
And then I told him, and then I say, and then he rolled up and said something. And I told him, pull over at the next exit. If you're talking, I say, pull over and let's talk about it. And he acted like he was going to pull over. We were going to get off and talk about it, but he got back on the freeway and kept going. So I got back on the freeway again and met him again. And I told him, no. I said, come on. I say, come on, let's get off the freeway right here and talk about it. So, he ended up going on. I ended up getting off at the next exit, but I know I was in a state. I knew I was wrong. All right. I knew I was wrong, but I'm about to lose it. All right. I'm about to crack. And that moment right there, it was a moment that anything could have happened, anything. But I was at a point to where I really didn't care what happened. So guys, don't let this corona fatigue get to you, man. Don't let it get to you because it's real, because I know that wasn't me. I know I was frustrated and I was just mad at anything and I want to break something. And if I could break this sucker's face, that's probably what I would have did. If he would have stopped and rolled over, or something may would have happened to me. But don't let this corona fatigue get you guys.
Yeah, listen to the man right there. I think we have time for one or two more. So let's see. Here, Stephen Pryor says, "How did you feel leaving WCW, the world champion and the U.S. champion, when WCW bought out? Was it your choice or was it Russo's?"
My choice. What do you mean? What was my?
I think he was wondering who made the decision for you to be the world champion and U.S. champion.
Man, that was I think a WWE call. As far as saying, hey man, that's the guy. I don't know who made that call, but I know WWF was buying the company, so I thought they would have been the one to make that call. I know I was in the match with Scott Steiner, and then only one of us could have won that match. So they say, who could win this match tonight? Booker T or Scott Steiner? Or put it on books up tonight. So that I got the nod. Was I happy? Hell yeah. I mean,
sorry, Scott.
I mean, come on, homie. No, I'm closing the company down, man. The kids that started at the bottom WCW and rose all the way to the top to close the company down as the world heavyweight champion and the United States heavyweight champion all in one night to go on to, WWF to test himself to see how good he really is. Oh, man. Of course, man. I had a chip in the game. Who would have thought? Who would have ever thought in that company, in WCW, that the final heavyweight champion and United States champion, his name is Booker T. Huffman? How many people would have thought that? How many people would have gambled on that? How many people would have bet on that?
He would have been the Vegas underdog, I'm sure.
I would have lost. I mean, literally, I would have been the only one betting on myself if I would have bet on myself, which I wouldn't. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious, because that's not something that you can foresee. That's not something that you can picture in a million years, something like that happening for you. But I knew I was talented. That part right there is something that I never wavered on. I never knew if I was going to make it to the top of that company or not. But I knew I wanted to be the best guy in the locker room. I knew that. And I knew if WCW, didn't want me, I could have gone anywhere in the world and made money and would have been able to take care of my family. And at the end of the day, that's what only thing it was really all about for me. All the championships and all of that, that's just icing on the cake, man. That's just icing on the cake. But no one would have pictured that.
So I think we have time for one last one. I don't know if you saw The Miz regained his Money in the Bank briefcase on Monday.
Yeah.
So Miz is in a good position right now. We have Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre going into the first Raw of the year, the Raw that you're going to be on for the WWE Championship. Who walks out of the first Raw of 2021 as the WWE Champion, Booker T? Is it Drew McIntyre, Keith Lee, or is it going to be The Miz?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say, man. Keith Lee is a guy that's got a whole hell of a lot of potential. To kick off 2021 with Keith Lee being the heavyweight champion definitely would be a moment that WWE would be remembered for many, many years, especially on a show like that, non-pay-per-view. Wow. Title change. Wow.
All the legends there.
All the legends there to, be there to clap them up. That would be huge. The Miz cashing in the Money in the Bank. Man, the Miz could put himself right back in the limelight. And right now with having all of these shows and obligations, it's always good to show up with the title. You know what I mean? So definitely the Miz can do it. But and Drew McIntyre, man, Drew McIntyre's been strong now. Strong for what? Almost a year now, right? About a year.
I mean, about a year. Royal Rumble was in January last year.
Yeah. So right now he's going strong. He's putting his footprint on the heavyweight championship. So I don't know, man, who's going to walk out, man. But I definitely would like to see that moment, Keith Lee actually cashing it in. But the question is Keith Lee ready for the championship? That's the question. Guys, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, send him home, Buck, for the last show of 2020.
That's what I was just going to say, man. We got to wrap this thing up, man. I want to thank all you guys for hanging out with us here tonight, as well as all of the super chats. We appreciate it, guys. All of it's going to the bank, and all of it's going to help this show right here, the Hall of Fame, be a little bit better in 2021. Bradley, I appreciate you, man. It's been a hell of a 2020, but 2021, it's going to get greater later. Guys, we up out of here. Shoop!